Hi, I'm Alyssa, your Free Range Psychic. Today is October 1st, 2023. I'm going to do a past life study today on Congressman James Comer, who we all are very much aware of right now as a possible reincarnation of, surprise, surprise, a Nazi Gottlieb Herren. And when I do these readings, my guides show me these lives. And then I start looking, and I don't compare the pictures first. Some people think I look for a similar face, and then I say, oh, that must be the reincarnation. That's not what happens. My guides point me to the person, and then I start delving into it. And see, usually, it's not right away that I see the similarities. I have to kind of, put them together, like in a montage, and I'll see it. Okay, so I'm using the Sarah Marchetti Gilded Tarot for the reading, and then we have an oracle card from the Sufi Wisdom Oracle by Rasuli. And then, of course, as always, there's a musical interlude at the end. Let's get to it. So I am, unfortunately, I don't know. I'm trying to get better at reading articles. I know I apologized in my last video about having to read one, but I can't help it. I don't know how I could get all this information out to you. I'm going to have to learn how to do that and give you all the facts, in a chronological way. And this article was too good not to read because we don't remember, do we, about Jamie Comer? How many of you remember the scandals that came up with him in the past? And for some reason, the gaslighting that the media does, these people are able to just do the most heinous things and just kind of step back into the smoke and mirrors there. And Jamie Comer acts like he's this, just clean-cut American guy, and he's just looking at the, wanting to get to the facts here, and this is not who Jamie Comer is. So let's read this article. Forgive me for the awkwardness or choppiness of it. I'm going to practice until I get these things right, but I'm going to do the best I can here. So this article was from the Salon magazine. I actually found it on salon.com. It's by Ray Hodges. Maybe we'll never know for sure whether Jamie Comer, whom the rest of the world knows as Representative Jamie Comer, Republican of Kentucky, now chair of the House Oversight Committee, really beat up his former girlfriend, Marilyn Thomas. Called her parents in the middle of the night, threatening to kill her, and then took her to have an abortion back in 1991. But we know for sure that in 2015, Thomas took an enormous professional and personal risk to come forward with those allegations during a dead-heat Kentucky GOP gubernatorial primary. Comer ultimately lost that primary due to his own political incompetence, with his failed smear campaign against a woman who never wanted to speak out against him in the first place. During the waning weeks of the 2015 race, Comer broke into a computer server from the law firm of his opponent's spouse and stole emails that had been exchanged between Thomas and a local blogger about the alleged abuse. As others have noted, the allegations would otherwise have been likely contained to the realm of local politics if Comer hadn't attempted to intimidate Thomas. While accusing his GOP opponent of gutter politics by leaking the emails to reporter Sam Youngman at the Lexington Herald-Leader. All of this blew up in his face, of course. To Comer, seeming surprised, the public was less appalled by his political opponent's receipt of an unsolicited Oppo research about him, and more appalled by credible allegations that Comer had violently abused a traumatized young woman. When Thomas refused to take the smear job lying down and released her own statements, Comer was cooked. Now, thanks to a starstruck profile of Comer by New York Times reporters Jonathan Swan and Luke Broadwater, which hand-waves away the allegations and skips over most of the facts, we know that Comer has finally admitted to the server break-in and email theft. I've had 2 servers in my lifetime, Comer told the Times when asked about those emails. Hunter Biden is one, as you can see, and I'm not going to say who the other one was, but you can use your imagination. It ended up in my lap. I'll put it like that. Just as Kentucky roll calls late Lowell Rees knew in 2015 that Comer leaked the emails, state Republican Party officials knew Thomas's story years before Comer spread it wide. Thomas was a known figure in Kentucky political circles. Her character was vouched for by the then-sitting Republican state senator and Comer family ally, as well as by the chief of staff for a former Republican governor. Thomas's 2 former roommates also say they witnessed some of the abuse, prompting one of them to threaten to call the cops when Comer allegedly flew off the handle in the woman's shared apartment. And Thomas's 83-year-old mother, a former nun, corroborated Thomas's story about the late-night phone threats. A more colorful portrait might have included the fact that Comer denied the allegations, providing conflicting statements. Thomas challenged him to a lie detector test, which Comer declined. A more accurate rendering might have noted that Comer threatened to sue not only the blogger, briefly alluded to in the article, but also the Pulitzer Prize-winning Louisville Courier-Journal, a threat he soon dropped. Although Swan and Broadwater of the Times report that they spoke to more than 30 people close to Comer throughout his life, a cursory glance across local reporting would have revealed the Congress's public history of throwing verbal hissy fits full of vulgar but ultimately impotent rage. One of these interviews was with the county judge executive Mitchell Page. The Times notes that 3 cases of vote buying have happened in Monroe County during Comer's lifetime, but does not observe that the best knowing of those involved Comer's friend and former roommate, Billy Prophet, who pled guilty to a vote buying scheme in 2011 and went on to defend Comer against the abuse allegations in 2015. So he seems like a nasty piece of work. And yet he tries to have this innocent face on, and I'm hoping everybody sees through it. But I kind of am not surprised that he is the reincarnation of this guy, Gottlieb Herring. So Gottlieb Herring, your typical Nazi villain. I'm not going to go into too much detail about him, except to tell you he's born June 2nd, 1887, dies of mysterious circumstances as a prisoner after World War II, where he's held by the Allies. October 9th, 1945. He was an SS officer who impressed Himmler and then ended up running 2 concentration camps, both extermination camps. One was in Ukraine called Belzec, and then there's another one. But the whole focus of that camp was just people were sent there to be euthanized. And that is as much as I'm going to say about the guy. You can research him. if you like, or maybe you have expertise on him. But I really didn't want to get into it too much. Okay, so I don't know how many surprises there are to begin with. The subject card is the devil, of course, and Comer and his the person he reincarnated from, is that right? Or his past reincarnation. This energy, just evil, full-on evil, allied with Gottlieb Herren, with the Nazis and Hitler, and then Comer allied with MAGA, Ultra MAGA, and the insurrection, and the continued efforts to take our government down. So above is simply death. So the guides say this is the euthanasia, the extermination camps, I should say, and for Herren. And then for Comer, this is his continued effort to kill the government, to stop its ability to function, to bring down Biden and the Democrats, and the end of democracy. So he's just carrying on this campaign of death to end Western democracies and bring in the Aryan 1,000-year Reich. Just continued purpose of that. And that's behind everything else. That's what is happening, or what he's going to try to do. In the past, of course, the Tower. So World War II, and the destruction that it causes, concentration camps, and then the defeat. And here's Comer falling off that and meeting his end. And then for Comer, this is the January 6th insurrection, whatever led up to that, whatever still continuing. He is deep. He is deep in this plot to overthrow the American government and install Trump or whatever Putin puppet dictator is viable. Underneath, this is a card of the narcissist. So the guides say Herren running these concentration camps, and Comer really wanting to continue as a white nationalist to enslave, defeat, make miserable, to have victory over people of color and the other, and using whatever means necessary to do it, and he's fully engaged in this fight. KKK, White Aryan Brotherhood, and Putin too. If think about if this is run by Putin, Putin is definitely backing this effort, and this effort to overthrow our government. And also then, if you think of Comer using his attacks against Biden, bringing this in full force to smear Biden, to weaken the presidency. And he was put in that Judiciary Committee position because he's this guy. And then this is probably just him generally in life. It's a nasty piece of work. So in the future, the guides say Ten of Swords. So Ten of Swords, obviously Herren died in, my guides say, what they give me a vision of, and this is just grain of salt, a Ukrainian, like somebody who worked for the Ukrainian underground, killing him whilst he was in prison. And that's how he died. But I don't know. I don't know if it will ever be found out for real. But so that's how he died. brought his own death upon him, and he died in infamy. And then Comer, this is the death of his attempt, I think, to impeach Biden. And this shows somebody who is taken down, not able to function as they once had, to lose life force, to lose power. So something is coming for him, maybe just failure of the impeachment. It's not good. And then the clarification card is Knight of Swords. So the Nazis thought they were, holy crusaders to bring in the Aryan 1,000-year Reich. They thought they had a spiritual purpose here, and Comer and his alleged, past incarnation, same thing. I know I mentioned before, but I'll reiterate it. This is, bringing in Nazism, an ideology, and Comer continuing in this same, emanation, or same role, same theology here as the Nazis. And it's a holy war, right? Holy for them, holy because they believe that they're superior, and that only they are loved by God or divine force or Odin, whomever he worships. And then this card, this clarification card, I don't really think this is for Gottlieb Heron, but the guides say this is more for Comer in this incarnation, playing the magician, smoke and mirrors, manufacturing this ridiculous story about the Biden crime family, when everything's projection, right? So I'm sure they studied this, whomever the psychologists are, or the strategists behind how I know how to express the GOP talking points, how the GOP are going to create their narrative. Okay. And they look at what they think was effective for bringing Trump down, or why he lost the election, which was, of course, the Trump crime family, 91 felonies and counting. And then they think that their people, or the American public, are so gullible that if they just change out the story, we're going to fall for it. Oh, that worked, yeah, let's do that, let's say that. And it's just so perverse. The outcome cards here, interesting cards, Knight of Swords, and then I asked for clarification, and I got Judgment. The guides say there's going to be some kind of humiliation for Comer, utter failure. And then something about the January 6th, something about Jack Smith, something about the DOJ, something about Comer's involvement in the insurrection. It's coming to light here. And for Heron, I think this is how his life ended, mysteriously, and probably with a lot of fear, and very weak, and locked up, and then assassinated, allegedly. And then this is the world, after World War II, and learning about all the horrific things that the Nazis did to the Jews and other people that they exterminated. But bring us back to the present here. Failure, defeat, and a call to a judgment here, a reckoning. Okay, that was my reading on James Comer as a possible reincarnation of Gottlieb Heron. Let me know what you think. None of this is written in stone. This is just a kind of synchronicity that I come up with my guides regarding this stuff. Or should I say, this is what they show me, or this is what I think they show me. I'm just human. I can always be wrong. I think that's a better way to state it. And I almost did one on Ken Paxton, but then I started collecting his pictures, not past life, just, like an update. Oh, he's vile. He's even worse than Gomer. He just looks like he crawled out of a slimy rock or something. And I was like, no, I cannot right now. I can't do that. Can't focus on this. So let's move to our oracle card. Shift our energy here. And the one that is chosen is Time to Play. Dance when you're broken open. Dance if you've torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of the fighting. Dance in your blood. Dance when you're perfectly free. Rumi. Rumi comes to remind you that play and developing a more playful attitude are not only enjoyable, but essentially good for mental health. This change plays an important role in building strong, healthy relationships by bringing people closer to you, creating positive bonds, and resolving conflict and disagreement. If you are looking for new relationships, playfulness and humor can be effective tools not just for attracting others, but also to help overcome insecurity and feelings of embarrassment that might have arisen in your past encounters. Oh, dear one, do not limit your own joy by being self-conscious and overly concerned about how you'll look and sound to others when you attempt to be lighthearted. There is no reason to be worried that being playful will make you look ridiculous. Reclaim your inner child by setting aside regular quality time to have fun. The more lighthearted you are, the easier it becomes. Sprinkle your life with more fun things that make you lose yourself in the moment. Beloved, you need to play, especially when you believe you are too busy. Why start now? The great oracle Rumi encourages you to be in love with life, no matter what you're doing. When you remember to dance, you feel joy. Plan to do something playful. Be spontaneous, set aside your inhibitions, and do something fun that you haven't done for a long time. Mantra: I am in love with life. There's always time to play, always time for fun, always time for love. Time to play. Okay, you guys, I will remind you here that I'm available for personal readings. I read on past lives, anything in present, including past and future in the present life. I am a medium and I love to introduce you to your guardian angels. My information is below in the description box. Also, it comes after the musical interlude at the end of the video. Please take care. I love you. I'll be back next week. Lots of things happening, right, in the news regarding Trump. He's just like, there's just this never-ending falling trajectory. It's like, there's no end to it. And it's good to see him get some consequences, right? And there's just a lot coming up still. Okay. You guys take care. Bye.